We saw what His Excellency the President posted regarding the fight against corruption, which everybody is fighting, even members of Parliament, because now we can see like with us others on the recess, but with us on the Committee of COSASE and Public Accounts Committee, we are in Parliament, we are fighting corruption. But the statement the President made that members of Parliament pay themselves salaries is something that will attract a public debate with limited information. I would wish to inform the public that whereas Article 85 of the Constitution, which was promulgated in 1995, provides that the salaries and remunerations of members of Parliament shall be determined by Parliament. Article 93 of the Constitution says that nobody will determine what to get from the consolidated fund without government bring the motion to the House. So you can see that Article 85 read together with Article 93 of the Constitution, which limits on the financial matters, together with Articles 155 and 156. When all of them are read together, they find that members of Parliament per se, they don't decide what to be paid. But what is paid is allowable by government, and it is in the resolutions of Parliament or government that members of Parliament are paid such a money. But also in another case is that we have been amending the Constitution several times. So if that one becomes an issue that is to serve public interest, to amend the Constitution, that should have been amended. The article should be amended. And that's where it calls that government should have provided to have a body that determines the salaries and the pay and remunerations of everybody who gets money from consolidated fund. So that's what should be addressed properly. Because now we find that different bodies and different commissions determine their own pay. So to harmonize the pay, it should be holistic, but it should not be a blame game. That one is not proper. Another thing that now that they are in Shankwanza and they have already found out that there is a problem in the government, there is corruption. Corruption has a relationship with decision making. And all of the decision makers of employment, of procurement, of payments, they are all now in Shankwanza. But now that they are in an introspective meeting, they have already known the challenges the government is having. And they will come out with resolutions to address those challenges. So the public, including myself, we are waiting for restructuring of government to save some resources. Restructuring of government, reorganization of government where permanent secretaries are reorganized to improve the service delivery and save resources and save some resources from one sector to another sector. So, and secondly, we should see reduce the conflict between executive and the Parliament, because that's an imaginary conflict. That's what I think. Of course, as for members of Parliament, if there is corruption, the ratio of the members of Parliament who are in prison against the ratio of members of Parliament who are in Parliament, there is need to do thorough research. And of course, now the cases are not yet concluded, so you cannot know if they are corrupt or not corrupt. So I would think that instead of making a blanket condemnation of Parliament, we should now scale down to making specific condemnations or specific blames, but not to say the whole Parliament is like that. That's what I think. For the government to perform, executive needs Parliament, Parliament needs executive, and executive needs legislature, because they must work together, three of them. So none of the arms should undermine one another. So they are not in Shankwanza as executive to undermine the operations of Parliament. So I think that when they come out, they will find better solutions to address the challenges or the gaps that could be there. And addressing the issues of information management in this government is very, very important, because some of this information is not well managed and communicated to the public. So the public might receive information and even misinterpret the information that have received. So that's very important. Ekyokugamba ngu omusara Parliament eyongeza buli budde, ekyo si kituufu. Toyinza kwongeza omusara ngu Parliament ngu government tebikiriza. Government eyinza kubikiriza eri mu bitumu ekitundu kya constitution ana 95 chenda musatu parliament teyinza kuteekako sente ngo government terese motion ekirala gamba ngu members of parliament bali banguzi mu Uganda corruption yonna bagamba enguzi eri wonna naye abasalamu kusasura sente za procurement abasalamu kusasura be ba minister na ba permanent secretary kati nawo ngu bali kyankwanzi tusuubira ngu baza kusalamu ebintu ebijja kukendeza ko kukubagana kwa parliament na kwa executive mu Uganda ebitongole bingi byesaliramu kwesasura na parliament inza kusalamu ngu tujja kufuna sente bweziti obu bwe budde kugamba government eje n'ekitongole kimu ekijja kusalamu ensasula y'omusaara basasula sente meka abantu bonna abakora mu government si kugamba ngu nasalemu public service asalemu bano wasalemu tufune ekitongole kimu oba tufune committee emu commission emu egumenge esalamu omuntu okora mu government bamusasule sente meka president ayataga executive kirungi government yetaga parliament ekora burungi na government yona yetaga judiciary ekitongole ky'abaramuzi ekikora burungi so sichampisa nungi kugamba ngu bona osange ngo bakubagana kyetaga bona bakolere wamu no president kyetaga afune information egasa nyendoza president information endala yayina kyetaga ademu bamu information intufu egamba ngu sibona ba member parliament bona ngu babi oba bona ngu bagye nguzi walimu oyinza kusanga ngu barye nguzi ate mu bukiko soba kusanga bamungu barye nguzi nesibona naye kyetaga president atuyambe anonyereze afune abarye nguzi babakoleko bali abatarye nguzi tibono namanya ga abatarye nguzi.
Thank you very much. I'm Isaac Otemgio, representing the people of Padiere County. First and foremost, it is not good in public, especially when the three arms of government are now pulling each other's heads. It's a bit wrong. As three arms of government, we are trusted by the public to make sure that if there is anything between us, we can easily resolve it amicably. But one of the biggest problems we must actually understand is that the MPs, why are the MPs coming in? The issue of the salary that the president is commenting about, MPs come in because of poor service delivery. Because of service delivery which is not reaching our people, the money is being allocated in parliament for healthcare, the money is being allocated for the roads, and some of those things are not reaching our people. And that is the main reason as to why most of the MPs end up digging into their pockets to try and actually cover the gaps. And I think that is where I see the MPs sometimes raise the issue that they are digging into their wages. So I do not agree with the issues that the president is bringing up, that actually attacking the entire parliament, of being corrupt. I think, yes, there are issues within parliament. There are some issues. We have 529 members. If there are about 10 members who are corrupt, of course, it doesn't mean that the entire parliament is corrupt. We must find a way of working together, and we do support the tough stance the government is actually showing to come in and actually try to uproot those bad eggs between us, because we are also not happy as members of parliament if a few rotten eggs amongst us are actually damaging the image of parliament. So we support him on that, but we do not support that he should brand the entire parliament as corrupt. I think the president went a bit too far, and I think that one is a bit wrong. As the three arms of government, we must all work together to make sure that we deliver service for our people.
What do you have to say having a one body that determines the service of all public servants?
No, we do welcome that. Actually, it has been brought up a number of times. Personally, I also do feel it is wrong that MPs should be the one also to determine their salary. I think that is wrong. I think we should have a separate independent body that determines all salaries for public service people, because even us, we work for the people. So I do support that we must, Parliament should not be the ones actually determining their own salary. We must have an independent body that determines the salaries of all public workers. That one is totally agreeable. That is why we come into an issue whereby we have been following up the issue of the commissioners sitting by themselves and then determining their own awards. That is where this whole abuse comes in, because Parliament is determining their own salary. If an independent body was doing that, we would not be having the problem whereby commissioners sat in a meeting by themselves and awarded themselves those service award money. So I do totally agree to have an independent body to regulate the payment of all public service. Zendoza ntino fenna nga abali mu government utekeko executive uteke judiciary uteke nga parliament fenna tulina okolagana wamu nga arms of government wabaawo ensonga tulina okutuula wamu ne tulaba nti no tugikola. Of course nga parliament president mutuufu tulina abantu abamu abali mu kwonoona endabika yaffe mu bantu nga parliament bali batandisemu ebintu bya corruption naye tulina kitegeera tuli abantu 5 abasuka 5 29 aba MPs tuli bangi so wabaawo abantu 10 abali corrupt tekitegeeza nti no parliament yonna eri corrupt so ffe tulowooza nti no president alina kitegeera nti no ffenna tuli corrupt wabula tuwaniriza enkola gyali mukola okulaba ntino ayingiddemu okulaba ntino ateereza ebiri mu parliament abali corrupt abo ntino bakwatibwa ekyo kyo tumuwagira naye okugamba ntino ababaka bonna bali corrupt sikiwa ntino ekyo kintu kituufu kuba naffe n'abatuleese wano tuli balonzi abalonzi be batuleeta wano era nkiwa ntino tuli mu kukola ebintu abalonzi kye batuleetera kituufu executive yonna ne parliament ne judiciary tulina okulaba nti no tukolagana wamu wabaawo ensonga yonna ndoza executive yonna egyetuule wamu tulabe nti ensonga ezo tuzikola naye abantu babulijjo we balaba nga tutandise kusika mugwa parliament esika mugwa ne president esika mugwa ne judiciary ate nga batusuubira nti no tuba tukola kintu kyekimu tekirabika bulungi mu ggwanga n'abantu bennyini ensi wabweru eraga nti ensi yaffe teri wamu so nze nkiwaffe ng'abantu executive tulabe nti no tukolagana wamu wabaawo ensonga abakulu baffe bakulembeze we bali tuyinza okutuula ne batuyita ne tuteereza ensonga ezo ekyo kyo nkiwagira bulungi nnyo nze siwagira nti no parliament erina okuteekawo omusaala gwago ekyo kyo kikyamu tulina okubeerawo n'ekitongole ekyawabweru ekiri independent ekitongole ekirala ekisalawo omusaala gw'abantu bonna abakola mu public service ng'otaddeko ne babaka ba parliament neffe nga parliament okutuula ne twesalira nti twesasula sente bwe ziti ekyo kyose kiwagira era kyo nkiwagira independent body ebeerewo esalawo omusaala gw'abantu bonna abakola mu public service w'olabira nti no twafuna ensonga z'abacommissioners kubanga commissioners bagenda ne batuula bokka ne bewa emigabo ejja 1.7 trillion kati singa ntino abantu bode eyawabweru yali ekola ekintu ng'ekyo 1.7 billion 1.7 trillion erako eyagundi okubanga tino tulina bode okuva wabweru nkiwagira nnyo tulina okuba n'ekitongole ekitunula ku musaala gw'abantu bonna abakola mu public service nga n'omusaala gw'aba MP ng'okotadde singa ensonga ekyo kyaliwo okuva dda totwandibadde mu kizibu kye tulimu ku ssaawa zino okubanga ntino bakomishona bagenda ne batuula ne beegabira 1.7 billion kubanga basobola kukikola kubanga parliament yeesalirawo sente zeefuna naye bwe tubaawo n'ekitongole ekirala ekikwatagana n'omusaala totwandibadde mu kizibu ng'ekyo so ekiteeso ekyo nkiwagira tufune ekitongole ekiri independent wabweru yebetuula negamba nti no ba MPs balina kufuna sente beziti abakola mu ministries balina kufuna sente beziti ne ba ministers bafune sente beziti